I'm gonna make this quick because it is currently boiling in New York City and I've turned off my air conditioning to get rid of the noise. But just wanted to quickly share two new pickups from Chanel. First off, we have the limited edition Chanel drop bottle of number 5 Low. This is why it's nice to have a bit of a sample library, because I hadn't bought this and I hadn't smelled it in a while, but I think with the previous Chanel order, I had a sample of number 5 Low. So when I heard about this new limited edition packaging, I sampled it, tested it out to see if I liked it, and I really did. It's funny that I had slept on it. I think the first time I tried it, I just barely tried it and thought it smells a lot like the regular number 5. And while I like and respect number 5, it's one I don't really want to wear. My mother actually wore it. My parents weren't especially into fragrance. It was like only a night out special occasion kind of thing, but I do have a good memory of it because she had actually asked for it for one Christmas, and I probably bought it maybe with my dad's help, but I remember thinking it was so fancy. And yeah, I think for her generation growing up, Chanel number 5 was like one of those markers of like success or a sophisticated woman. And I actually have that bottle today. She must have just barely used it because there's still some left, and that must have been, gosh, over 20 years ago or so. So anyway, Chanel number 5 regular is one that I actually don't own and I don't wear. But after retesting Low, I really came to like it. It's kind of just like it says, it's like a number 5 water. It's like all the top notes, the citrusy notes, but on just like the airiest kind of nothing bed of musks and aldehydes. As that might suggest, it doesn't last very long at all. It really is kind of like a cologne, like a number 5 cologne. This cap, by the way, is quite on there. I'll talk about the packaging in a second, but I've sprayed some on today already, but it's just the most bright, uplifting citruses on a cloud of aldehydes. Let's see, they list, I think there's a lot of bergamot here. Aldehyde, lemon, neroli, mandarin, bergamot, orange, lime. Yeah, I think it's probably the most unisex number 5. I know there's Low Premier, which I've actually never tried, so I'm not sure how it compares to that. Because it really has kind of a cologne profile, but it's got those really starchy aldehydes, which makes me think of like a very clean, crisp pressed white shirt. Now the bottle, it's really, really nice in person. It's all glass, including this cap, so it's actually quite heavy. It really feels substantial and really high quality in person, and I'm really glad that I got this. I'm not sure I would have sprung for it if I already owned a bottle of Chanel number 5 Low, but since I didn't, this was a good chance to jump on the special edition. The price, it's not terrible. I guess it's about $150 for 50 mil. Given the longevity, that might be a bit of an expensive proposition, but it's not a huge markup compared to the regular price. As I often do, I bought it from Europe. I got it from Selfridges. As some of you may know, Selfridges offers a year of free express international shipping if you pay about $50 once. So it's a really good way to get Chanel for considerably cheaper if you're in the US. There were several years ago where the prices almost matched to the point where it didn't make sense to order from Europe. And back then, I do miss, I would always buy it in person. I'd go to a Chanel boutique or a Saks. And the nice thing about that is you get loaded up with samples, you create a relationship. But currently the price difference is so huge. For example, I think like a Lay's exclusive 75 mil, I have to look this up to make sure, on Selfridges is currently I think $240. A few months ago it was like $220, always rising, but here it's $325. It's a whole $100 difference. It used to be only Harrods that had the Chanel's Lay's exclusives that would ship, you know, online. But in the last few years, Selfridges got it as well. And Harrods shipping is kind of $50 every time, so it didn't make sense. Anyway, I highly recommend if you want to buy Chanel. And I wasn't expecting this to pop up there, but it did. And again, it was cheaper. I think it's more like $120 or $130 there. So yeah, really nice pickup. Beautiful bottle. I like it so much I almost want another because it is like a small amount and I can see really wanting to spray a lot of this on every time. But if I was being practical or frugal, I would probably just buy 100 ml of the regular bottle to use lavishly and then kind of just hang on to the special edition and not use it as much. But yeah, not much else to say about the smell except very bright, very aldehydic, but not in a sharp way, in a really citrusy, bright, like I said, white starched shirt way. I really, really like it. Really perfect for these hot, gross, humid summer days. Anyway, I do sometimes feel bad about ordering things from abroad that can be bought locally due to the shipping offsets. There's some environmental impact involved there. It's not the best practice, and I'm aware of that. And it's an excuse. I like how I used environmental awareness as an excuse to say that I bought Comète while I was at it. It just feels wasteful to ship over the sea one single fragrance. Oops. I had put it back in, it didn't come like this. So since I sampled Comète, I knew I would buy it. I knew it would be something I'd pick up eventually. I really enjoy it. I was tempted to get the large bottle, which hopefully would have come with the special Comète kind of like imprint on the box. But if I'm honest, the amount of fragrances I have 10 mil things that have lasted me years and years and years. I do like this enough that I could see wearing it a lot, but I think, yeah, a 200 mil just really would have been unnecessary. I do like the feel of the 200 mils. The 75s really feel so small in the hand in comparison. They feel kind of dinky and like travel size. Actually, by comparison, this, which is only 50, feels so much more like substantial. But yeah, in terms of practicality, saving money, 75 is enough for me. So I don't really have too many new thoughts to add to this that I didn't already say in my sampling, but I've worn it a few times and really enjoyed it every time. I guess I'll spray a little on to layer with the number 5 low for today. My favorite part, first spray, exciting, is really the dry down, the late dry down. Again, it opens very kind of creamy, almondy, a little bit of that. Oh God, it's actually so good. Smelling it again, I'm just like, almondy, hints of that cherry blossom floral accord. But Polish, he really knows how to do a beautiful musk. I find this in Paris Biarritz as well. After the citruses die, you're left with like a really pretty addictive musk for the whole day and longer. I actually wore Biarritz last night after a shower. This morning I was still smelling the musk. So he has a magic way with musks, and although I'm not a perfumer, I don't know that much about individual ingredients, and I don't pretend to. I've heard that there are, varying degrees of expense with synthetic musks and molecules, and that some higher quality synthetic musks can be quite expensive. So just because it's synthetic doesn't necessarily mean that it's cheap or inexpensive. And it just feels like they use just the most expensive, luxurious musks, because what makes it feel that way is that it's very smooth. It lasts forever, but it's never annoying. Whereas the synthetic musk bases of like some designer fragrances, even a lot of niche fragrances, can be overly powerful. They can be annoying. They can feel harsh, scratchy, like cleaner. This just feels like a bed of clouds. And that musk, again, lasts forever. You might think the fragrance is light. I had the experience Nordstrom right now has a big display for all the Les Exclusives, I guess to kind of ring in Comète and get excitement about the line again. And it was unattended. So I went to town and sprayed Comète all over myself. And I felt like it disappeared within a few hours. I was out in the city. It was really hot. But later that night, I'm still smelling the musks. The next day, I'm still smelling the musks like I described with Biarritz. And maybe it's a personal thing, but the style of musks that Polish likes to use at Chanel really float my boat, and I really enjoy them. And I really love the smell that lingers on the skin for a long time. And Comète is like a really fantastic example of that. So that's my quick impressions and unboxing from a couple new fragrances. Let me know if you're gonna get your hands on the egg drop. Yeah, the one awkward thing, I'm not sure if I'm doing it wrong. It doesn't seem like it twists. You have to just kind of pull it off, but it's quite firm and quite heavy. The cap is a little awkward to take off, I'm finding, but really high quality feel, really thick, heavy glass to this, which also kind of makes it not great for traveling because although it has a nice ergonomic, like fits into a small bag. It's pretty darn heavy actually. So anyway, that's all for now. I'm gonna turn the AC back on and I'll see you later.